Quick little clip I'm going to insert here before you see the main part of the interview. Just want to apologise because this interview was recorded weeks ago when I originally was going to start my 8 weeks of training. So ignore the dates we say because dates in the video are May. That's some of the dates we say. But obviously my fight's got postponed. If you check my channel out, I did an information video on this series which would explain that. But if you haven't, ignore the dates we say in this video because that's all been changed, the dates, and my fight is actually my first training session is the 31st of May. So that's when the new 8 weeks of training actually begins, intense training. And also, I do apologise for the lack of sound. It's not the best quality. We had to kind of change mid-morning and change our plans and do it as my instructor's mate's back garden instead of where he was originally going to do it. So I do apologise for that. So just ignore the dates, like I said, as they got changed. And this was recorded ages ago. And yeah, sorry about the sound.
Cheers. Inspirational A. Road to Breaknuts.
What is lacking? A bit of a change of scenery, not planned, didn't go to plan quite as what we had, but never mind. So, before I crack on what this episode is going to be, this is Matt. You may have met him in the A&G podcast if you watched that, but if you haven't, I'll let him kind of introduce himself again. So, people coming across the channel for the first time.
So my name's Matt Roberts. I'm a professional martial arts instructor and I fight for Team GB. So my background's in kickboxing, Krav Maga, and a little bit of a streamer. And yeah, I'm a personal trainer as well. So really, it's my job to get this guy fighting fit, ready for the big fight.
He's bruised a bit, the belly fat, lockdown's got to me a bit. So this episode's kind of a prequel to the Road to Greatness. You may have heard me mention it a while ago, and there will be a video that would have been posted last week explaining what the Road to Greatness series actually is. But in a short essence, in case you don't want to watch that one, because it'll be quite a detailed video, it's going to be starting from my 8 weeks of intense training, which we're going to what the intense training and why it's intense training, because obviously I've been training, which starts at 17th of May, right up to the night of my cage fight. And I thought I'd do this document. It's kind of a documentary to get people to follow their dreams, so you don't need to be the most popular or the most biggest, or be in the martial arts your whole life. I've only started martial arts probably 27, 26. I think I've come quite far, so it's just to inspire people basically and to follow their dreams. We're going to fire away a few questions. It's going to be nice and raw, but good laugh as well. So I'm going to start with quite a juicy one, I think, anyway. What was your first impression of me, through the first couple of classes I did?
So obviously you came to the hall, what about
2 years now?
Yeah, about 2 years ago, wasn't it? So you came into the hall. First impressions were a quiet guy, didn't really give too much away. Carried a little bit of weight, so I'm sure you won't mind me saying that at the time. You came from a pretty bad area of your life, and to be honest, from the first moment to the moment we're at now, it's just been an absolute transformation, hasn't it? Got your head down. You were a grafter, that was for sure. So obviously, good first impression. I don't care, what people look like, what people do. I care about what people say, and I care about, people's attitude. Yeah. So. Yours, you were a quiet guy, you kept yourself to yourself, didn't do anything stupid, you respected the rules, so there was no problems there. And you had somewhat of an aim from it. You didn't just turn up with no goal. So, although it has changed in the meantime from then to now. It's been a good journey. So my first impressions were, nice guy, quiet guy, kind of had guessed that something had driven you to it, but I wasn't quite sure what, so a bit mysterious.
Yeah, definitely would agree with that. Definitely got a lot more confidence since I started. Like Matt said, I was going through a rough time at that time. Not going to go into it personal, but a few things kind of happened at that time. I've always wanted to do martial arts, so I kind of use martial arts as a way to gain confidence, because I did the typical gym way, get built up in the gym, but to me that was just not doing it. So I wanted that extra little thing, gave me that confidence, and also self-defense as well. Kickboxing gives you the self-defense.
That actually leads straight into my first question for you, so I think it's probably a good time to ask that. So, my first question to you really is, what attracted you to kickboxing, and more specifically to Epic itself? What sort of drove you to us and training kickboxing?
I'll start the first one. Kickboxing, because I've always, in my eyes, said my legs are my strongest weapons, and when I've been in street fights, obviously I don't do it often, and I don't do it now at all. But when I have had to defend myself when I've been picked on or whatever, I've always gone to use leg kicks or use my feet as weapons or knees. So I've always naturally just gone for feet, leg attacks, kind of using my legs. So, and I wanted to mix the boxing with the kickboxing as well. I wanted to have kind of both experience. I know kickboxing is legs, but you obviously do get taught to box and, you know, ducking, weaving, all that kind of stuff. And then Epic, because it was just more local to me. I obviously had to move to Yates because where I was living at that time couldn't live there anymore for a particular reason. And it was the closest one. It looked very good. It looked like a lot of people had accomplished a lot of goals there, and it looked like a very driven club that kind of would, you know, guide me to where I wanted to be, help me through that barrier of getting the confidence, and then help me further with now getting into a charity cage fight. That's kind of why I chose Epic and kickboxing in general. I've always wanted to do martial arts, but kind of when I hit that rough spot, should I say, that's when I was like, right, I'm going to do it now. So yeah.
It was a good thing as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely. Well, I wouldn't say completely. Obviously, I've still got my main core how using things like that, but, you know, very different. So, we said earlier, I'll be starting 8 weeks of intense training. Now, obviously, I've been training throughout lockdown and throughout, well, since last year, because I was originally meant to have my cage fight last year, but I got postponed due to lockdown and COVID. So, obviously, we've still been doing training and pad work and all that sort of stuff, but keeping it more light. So, how is that going to be different from... I'm dreading it, but I know I've got to do it. The 8 weeks intense training that you're going to be putting me through when we start on the 17th of May, compared to what I'm doing now.
So your current training schedule is, if you think of it as like, an oven. So if you want to, it's probably quite a poor example actually. So it's like you need to peak in sport performance, but you can't stay at your peak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is that throughout the lockdown, it's just been, we know there was going to be no fighting and nothing. You had a goal to lose weight and you lost an absolute load. Lockdown 3, unfortunately, is hit, I think, the whole nation pretty hard. It's not just you, it's not everyone.
I think it's got a muscle on as well, but definitely a little fat
yeah.
as well.
But, you know, bulking's not a bad thing because we can tense that off and you'll actually hold some power, as long as if we can get you power training as well. But what will be changing is the fact that every session you do will be intense. You will be sparring a lot. You will be doing a lot of horrible conditioning. One of the biggest changes is going to be that your diet has to be absolutely spot on. You can't have any cheat days for 8 weeks. No energy drinks, nothing. It's got to be spot on. And I guess the biggest thing is that there is now a goal set at the end of it. 8 weeks is probably about right. If 12, some people go for 12, I think is too long. Some people do 6, I think it's too short. So really 8 weeks is perfect. It's approximately 2 months prior to the date, and it's a very sharp step up in what goes into each session. Your sessions get longer, you train actually probably less than you have been training now, but when you do train, you train with such intensity that you can't train more than once or twice a day. You'll be hitting the roads a lot, running. There's a lot involved. We hit all the energy systems rather than focusing on one at a time.
Yeah. That's what you say something like that. I don't mind a bit cardio, like running. But
and the assault bike is going to be your best friend.
Yeah, I thought you would say that. Yeah, not looking forward to, what do you call it? I forgot you told me the other day, but I forgot the name of it.
What's that?
Where you just completely assault yourself to your sit, those sessions.
Oh yeah, gas tank sessions.
Yeah, not looking forward to those.
They're going to be fun. The assault bike, skiers, the rower, burpees. Everything you do.
Well, I know it's got to be done, and I know you may think, well, it's only a charity case fight, why are you trying so hard? I will explain at the end of this video why, for me, it's not just a charity case fight. There's 2 reasons mainly why. So was that your question? No, that was my question.
It was your question, so it's my question now. But my next question is, what is the single best moment of your kickboxing journey so far? One moment, if you can pick one, of your whole kickboxing journey so far, and why?
I would say competition, but that it's going to sound really weird. It's one of the first sessions I went to kickboxing, and Cam, I think it was, dropped me with a kick to the face. And the reason I say that's the one big moment for me, because in that moment that kind of made me go, right, I'm either going to stick this out, or this guy come around and go, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. And I think from that day that's when I kind of really got into it more and kind of tried getting sparring more to it, and kind of was like, no, this is what I want. I want to prove to people, you can drop me, but I'll get back up and I'll still stay there. So I think for the moment, that's the moment. Until I get in that cage and get the W, KO, submission, whatever, I'm getting the W.
Yeah.
That's the moment. I have done competitions, but to me, they've never gone that well because I've always done them at a very early stage of my career, I guess you'd say, or very early into doing kickboxing. Haven't done any jiu-jitsu ones yet. Yeah, I would say that moment because it kind of defined my journey at that point of whether I'm going to turn around like, no, I'm not doing this, or I'm sticking to it. You ain't knocking me down that easy. Well, you are knocking me down that easy, but you're not.
Yeah, not
backing
beating
down,
me. Yeah.
kind of thing. So I would say, yeah, that moment I got dropped with a nice little swift kick to the face. Don't ever get caught with them. They're not nice. I was actually a bit daisy for a while, but there you go. Right, which kind of leads on to this one. How would you say my attitude, mindset, skills, attribute, all that kind of stuff has changed over the, let's say, the last year? Because I'd say last year they probably have changed quite a lot compared to when you obviously first met me and I had no experience.
I think the first change in attitude I saw was when you went to your first competition and you took a defeat. Which is always, if you go into your first competition, to be honest with you, it's actually, I lost. I won my first ever fight, but I lost my second in the next round. And it's all good having the high of one, but when you lose, it's not a nice feeling. So when you come away with a defeat in your first experience, you always think, oh God, you know, it's where that's the flip of the coin. That's the heads I go on and I do better, and it's the tails I quit. And to your credit, I think the first thing you did was say, right, I'm going to win. I'm not going to lose. I'm not a loser. So you've knuckled down into training. We got you on a weight loss program, which actually you did phenomenally well. You lost 20% of your body weight and I say body weight. Weight's a false economy. It's body fat that matters. Weight, you can look great at 90 kilos. You can look crap at 90 kilos. It's your actual body composition that counts. You slimmed right down, you got strong, you started lifting weights again. You did everything that you were meant to do, and you started focusing. And then a charity cage fight popped up, which you signed up to, got accepted to. We obviously got the tickets and everything. You're pretty much there with your tickets, and you did everything that was asked of you. You jumped the hoops, and then obviously it got cancelled because of bloody COVID. But actually, when I put Fight Camp 1 on in lockdown 1. You could have backed down and said, no, I'll wait until we come back. You stuck to it. Again, that was probably where I saw your best improvement was during lockdown 1, because you stayed strong throughout of all of it. And you were, even though Fight Camp was home training only and out on the roads running, you were up against athletes, people that have been doing this, even if some of them were kids. They've been doing it for, 7, 8 years, and they're European champions and whatnot. We had people in there who were, the guy who won Fight Camp 1 had fought in 4 or 5 different European and World Championship finals. So, you're coming up against people who have been in this way of life for years and years, and it's ingrained. So, and you've stuck to it really well. I think you came 6th or 7th or something like that, which is
6th or 7th,
which is really good.
Top 5.
And then, obviously, the lockdown ended and we got back to training. We started preparing. You've never missed a session. You've never even had an excuse. You've never rang me up saying I can't make it. It's always been, can we still train? Can we do this? Can we train? Is the opportunity. You always come to me and say, if Jiu-Jitsu is doing this, I need to do that. But and we work around both. So your attitude is always not to find excuses. Your attitude is always finding ways of doing it all. And that to me is the biggest one. You have a growth mindset, not a limited mindset. If you find an excuse, in my eyes, you don't want to do something, if you know what I mean. If you find a way around it and then explain the problem, that to me shows that you've got 1, initiative, 2, you're proactive, and 3, you want it, if you know what I mean, you want to win. And that to me is the key. I can't work with people that find excuses, because every time I do something that will help them, so being perfectly fair, all I do is give people tools. You're still the one that has to use them. I can give you all the tools in the world. If you don't pick them up, you're never going to progress. So it's all down to you. And I get a lot of people that, you set them the path that they need to get there, which is proven, tested and works, and they find ways of managing to not use the tools. And you're like, you've never once done that. Never once done that.
I know what you mean. A good example of that for me, I think it's a good example of that, is some more the advanced kits I've never shied away from trying them. I think I said to you a year ago, and it's not long after I started kickboxing, I was getting good at my straight roundhouse kicks, I guess you call them. And I said, do you want to start learning the back kick? I think the moment I said that to you, I started going home, trying to do it once you showed me the technique, and now I can pull it off pretty good, or pretty amazingly, I would say, not to toot my own horn. And now I'm moving on to the spin hook kicks and the 360s and trying to progress in those. So I definitely see what you mean by progressing and getting further, which I've always thought I've had that mindset of. I've always had that graft mindset, whether it's through YouTube, MMA, grappling, whatever. I've always had that kind of mindset, so I'm glad you do see that as well. I think that's a very good value to have in a person, like you said, a good, when they want to graft and work hard for it and, you know, get that goal achieved.
Yeah, that's why you've come so far with very little, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, leave your questions then, was it?
Yep, so question 3 is going to be, I'm actually going to change the order that I put these in. So my first one to you is, how much would a win mean to you?
And it goes good point, because I said I was going to mention why this means a lot to me. So a little backstory, I won't keep it too long. First of all, I'm going into this cage very confident. That's not because I'm being cocky, but I've got the ground game. I'm doing jiu-jitsu lessons, I'm doing stand-up, and I have seen myself in class, when we've done PTs, that is connecting and flowing all really well together, which is the key thing I wanted to do. So the reason why I'm training so hard is for 2 reasons. One, my stepdad died of cancer. That's the first one, so I kind of doing this to make him proud. And second of all is, this isn't just a cage fight to me. This is a lot of things to me. This is to prove the haters wrong, that have said to me when I first said I was doing a cage fight, that I'm not aggressive enough, I haven't got the skill set, blah, blah, blah. I want to prove to myself, because I've never got a big win in a big competition. I said I've not won any kickboxing competitions I did. I haven't done any jiu-jitsu ones yet, so I can't say on that. And it's kind of to prove myself right, that I can do something when I put my mind to it, and I can get a win in an aggressive, because let's face it, cage fighting is one of the most aggressive combat sports you can enter. So it's kind of a big proving point to me, and like I said, it means a lot for my stepdad, and I also want to make a career out of it. So that's why I'm saying I'm aiming for a knockout or submission, because that's the way you make an impression. I want everyone to be looking at me that night, everyone all eyes on me, and me to be the stand-up person that everyone chats about, so then I can move on to a career, hopefully. And that's the main reason.
Best of luck with that as well. That'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
Well, we know the game plan, but also they're not going to see it on camera, but we know the game plan. So yeah,
fingers crossed that your arm's raised in the air and that I'm sat in the crowd going, which is annoying because I'd love to be stood in the corner, but
yeah,
that's the problem with having it the way it is. But yeah, we'll go with that.
So yeah, that's 2 main reasons. Well, there's a lot there, but yeah. I'm trying to think. Should I ask? No. 2 sets, Pete. I'll come back to that one next. So that one later. I mean, what are you going to be feeling that night if I get the win or the loss, knowing you're the one who's mostly, obviously I have got a jiu-jitsu coach, like I said, but I don't do PTs with him. Mostly he taught me my stand-up and mostly taught me how to link it all together and that sort of stuff.
Well, I think as long as if you go in there and do yourself justice, I'll be proud of you. If you know what I mean, I'm proud of your commitment to it all anyway, and the changes you've made in the last 2 years have been phenomenal. In terms of the actual win and loss, I don't care as much as you do about the result, because for me it's about performance, not about result. It's your first ever experience. It's going to be
nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. You haven't ever experienced life inside a cage, ring, whichever. If it's in a closed arena, it is quite. You run out of space very quickly. It's a lot smaller than you think it is in there, and you know. And if something goes wrong, it goes drastically wrong very quickly. So, looking at it from a pessimist point of view, there. You know, you could have a phenomenal fight, get hit with one good shot, and it's all over. And I'd still be proud of your performance if you fought well. You know, that's the part of inexperience. If you know what I mean, like you won't always walk in there and get the fairy tale win, because anything can happen. On the flip side, if you win and you perform badly, I'll tell you performed badly, so you got lucky. But if you win and you perform very well, if you know what I mean, you perform well, then again it'll be, you know, like sheer joy, the fact that you saw it right through and luck played, because there is an element of luck in all fights as well. If someone throws a shot and you slip, or anything could happen. Someone could throw a free kick and it skims off your glove, and anything can happen. So as long as if you go in there and give it your best, I'll be proud of you. Whatever happens, I think obviously for progression going forward, you're going to want to get the win. But again, we also don't want to put too much pressure on the result, because that's the problem. If you put pressure on a result, people focus solely on the result and not the game plan. So,
and you can make a statement by losing as well.
Not
as much, but
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you go in there and make the right noises, make the right moves, you will come out winning. So, yeah, I think my reaction is going to be, I'll be subtle in the crowd. I'm not going to make a scene, but I will take on board everything that happens, and obviously when we get a chance to chat about it, I'll raise a glass to you afterwards, whether you win or lose.
A few drinks that night.
But yeah, no, I'm just looking forward to watching you fight, man, and putting it all together. Like, we've done a lot of scenario training on the pads. We've also had to do a lot of scenario training on bags where we haven't been able to make any contact with each other for a long time. We've trained outdoors in the winter. We've trained outdoors in the autumn, in the summer last year. This is a long time coming. This, and I just think, I think you're about ready now. Like, mentally, you've been ready for a long time.
Mentally, definitely. Physically, I'm definitely.
Physically, the 8 weeks are going to sort you right out.
I do need to get rid of this beer fat. Not beer fat, but vodka fat, should I say? Because that's what I drink. But yeah, no, fair enough. What's your question?
So, links on very nicely, and I'm glad I've just swapped those round. What are your feelings going into the cage for the very first time?
Mainly two things. Nervous, because like you said, it's the first time not in the front of a crowd, because obviously the kickboxing competitions I have done in front of a crowd. But like I said, that one didn't go too well, because I basically just stood there and was a battering tool for the opposite person, basically let him kick me and punch me.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a bully.
Didn't go down though. Which most
shame I wasn't there that day, because I would have chucked myself in that division.
But yeah, so obviously this is a completely different ball game. This is a cage fight. You're gonna have my opponent's mates, partners, whatever, screaming at me, booing me. And it's going to get very intense very quickly, especially if he hunts me down and gets me, tries to trap me in a corner or takes me to the ground. Not because I'm worried on the ground, I know what I'm doing on the ground. But you've got to be, like Matt said, it's cage fighting. Anything can happen. It can just take one little slip of a move, one little sneaky grab my arm, which I don't notice, and bang, a Kimura's in, or something like that. So I'm definitely going to be nervous, just because the whole fact of there's going to be so many people watch me, and the opponent's going to be booing me, and getting the game plan. But I'm excited. I'm ready. Like we said, I've been ready for this for about a year now. Mentally wise, ready for a year, and I definitely feel like physically now I am, because my moves are coming, like I said, nicely all together. I'm doing a lot of striking in takedown submissions. My submissions getting a lot better. I'm doing a lot more advanced submissions now. There's a few sneaky kicks that, like I said, I'm not going to say on camera, but I'll be able to do in that case that our opponent probably won't know about, because they're more what you're doing in kickboxing classes, not just an 8-week training thing you do for this MMA. So they'll probably get talk very basic kicks, roundhouse leg kicks, which is stuff I know to how to defend and all that. So I'm definitely ready. I'm definitely feeling ready. I just want to get in there, kind of, get it all together, because I've created my music for my entrance as well. I'm getting a nice new suit, so it's going to be nice to get in there.
How many people have ever gone into that cage with their own entry song? You're probably the very first one that's ever done that.
Got to go the whole way. So I just want to get there and experience it. So I think as much as I'll be nervous, the adrenaline will take me over, and I think in the back of my head I will be thinking, this is my moment to prove myself to everyone that said I can't do this sort of thing, and to myself. Because I'm not completely doubtful myself, but there's that tiny bit of doubt in me, just because in the past I've failed at kickboxing competitions, so kind of, there's only a little bit of doubt. But more, like I said, more than ready, basically ready to go. Just want to get in there and get smashing some faces in, I guess you'd say. Or tapping some people out. Or stoppage, whatever, I'm getting the win that night.
Smack some bitches.
By
that,
yeah.
I mean the opponent, not females. Just clarifying that.
Which kind of leads nicely into my point, because what is the future goals you would personally yourself like to see me achieve after this cage fight?
I want you to achieve what you want to achieve, and you've already stated that to be going into the amateurs first, and then up into a pro contract from there. So, you know, and who knows, you might even skip the amateurs if that's, you know, if you know the right people. That's, you know, you can sign pro contracts off the back of a few fights. So, you know, I'd want you to achieve that. I want you to go ahead and do what you have set your heart on doing. You've applied yourself. You take your training just as seriously as your own work. So, you know, that's you've driven yourself into the floor where you've been training and working so hard. So that's
yeah. Find the balance when it comes to these things. I'll tell you about that story in a minute, but yeah.
So yeah, I just want you to go ahead and achieve what you want to achieve. Obviously, I'll be there to support you as much as I can with any striking. It'll probably end up being that if you go down to a professional club, or a club that you fight under, that actually that will probably take over your striking as well, because that's how the professional world works. But you know, no matter how you go about it, I'll always be following your journey. So, you know, you said that you'd love to get the Bellator, etc., or something like that.
Yeah,
great. I watched Bellator, and Michael Page is actually fighting on tonight's Bellator, which for you guys watching would have been a few days back now. You might want to put that. But yeah, I watch all the Bellators. Bellator on this weekend, which I'll be watching, and it's just you know. I want you to really achieve what it is that you've set out to achieve from day one and beyond.
Kickboxing goals for me.
Kickboxing goals depends on where you're contracted. If you get a contract, you won't be able to compete in kickboxing. But if you don't quite yet, then yeah, we're definitely. I'd love to take you. So one of the things I'd love to do is get you to come onto one of the international trips, fight in a different country, because that's something to put on your resume. Then, a martial arts career, I fought in Croatia, or Italy, or Hungary, or wherever it is.
Let me get them more experience first.
They've got divisions for beginners as well, and intermediates and advanced. So there's people in all of them. I don't think we can call you a beginner anymore, but competition-wise, you know.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, Bellator, like Matt say, Bellator is probably where I'd like to go. For now, I'm setting mini goals along the way. So obviously the first one is winning this charity case fight, then a rookie contract, and then Bellator, and then going from there, it depends, because I might be, you know, a bit too old for UFC, I might not make it in time. You don't know with UFC, because obviously it's a big company, and it's very hard to get in that company, because you've got to be extremely, like, phenomenal striker or something, you know, that's got that selling point. But definitely goals along the way, like I said. So before you ask me the question, what I was talking about earlier is finding the balance. Don't do what I did, where you drive yourself to the ground. You need to find the balance when you do this sort of stuff, because, and now I can speak from experience, which actually kind of scared me. Last week, just gone, I was in work, and I was to the point where I was exhausted from working out and training, and not sleeping much. That's my biggest problem, I don't sleep enough. Is that I got sent home because I just couldn't manage it. I was weak, I was really being sick, vomiting, coughing, just couldn't barely keep up on my machine. So definitely, if you're looking to get into this sort of stuff, find that balance of sleep. Also relax time, you know, have a day off, like this, for example, Sunday I'm having a day off. What was up in some new Nintendo games, you know, little treat. So definitely find that balance. Don't drive yourself to the ground, because you will catch up with you eventually. I thought I was invincible and it would never catch up to me. I've got a mate around that always says to me, you're doing too much, you're doing too much. It's going to catch up to you. Always kept saying to him, no it won't, I'll be fine, I'll push through. Tiredness is just something that don't affect me. And then bang, it hit me. So definitely find that balance.
Sleep is the hidden element. Sleep and rest.
Yeah. But do you want to ask your question now? I just
Right.
want to get that in before we end this session. I've only got one more to ask after this.
Wait, it links on to the last part that we made. What are your plans beyond the fight? So what are your exact plans as we sit right now, leading on to where I'd like you to be? Where would you like to be beyond? Which is funny, because I didn't actually see your questions until I wrote mine. So the fact that I've got that in there and you asked me at the same sort of time means that we're thinking on the same wavelength.
Well, like I said, let's break this down. Jiu-Jitsu, I definitely would like to go up a few grades. I'm not talking black belt, because I know that takes years, but I'd definitely like to get to the next, I don't know if I've got grades, I think orange belt next, blue. So maybe blue belt, I think I'd like to get to. Just a decent little, you know, belt in blue. jiu-jitsu. Same with kickboxing, I would like to get some like third grading up, maybe the fourth, depending, 'cause I've been in kickboxing longer than jiu-jitsu. So I definitely would like to get some gradings in them. Depending on how my how this fight goes, if I get into a contract, then obviously I'll be concentrating on cage fighting, and I probably would, like I said, work my way up, rookies, and then I'd like to make L4, be a champion in Bellator, and then go from there, see what happens from there. You know, if it gets too late and UFC don't offer me a contract, I might just end it there. If they do, it might be in the time that I only get enough time past a few fights. I don't know, but for now, so I don't want to set my goals too high for now. I want to focus on what's going on now. Trying to cage fight, rookie contract, Bellator, win a championship, and if, like I said, I can, in the spare time, get a few gradings in kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. Not too much.
Pretty much going right to the top.
Well, you know,
I like it.
But, you know.
No, ambition is everything. Ambition is absolutely everything.
The last one, because I don't think this is going to take long for Matt to answer, but what would you say to anyone who's looking to do martial arts? Would you say do what I've done and start on one martial art and then do another martial art later on in the year, or start on like 2 or 3 at the same time?
Yeah, no, start on one. It's the same with anything. If you don't go into school on day one and start learning, you know, Spanish, English, Japanese, and French. You start by learning English, and then after a while, when you've got enough English and you can understand enough English to then have something explained to you in English and then explain to it in another language, and you can understand what the cross-reference is, children can start learning foreign languages, a second language, at a young age. And again, you can go on to then a third and fourth, and by the time you're, you know, leaving school, you could, in theory, actually have learned several languages. Same thing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, all of this, Muay Thai, all of these different arts are like imaginary languages.
Yeah.
You need to get proficient enough in one to be able to use it enough, yeah, so that you can tie it to a second. If you've done 3 months of, and it's not true for everyone, but this is for the average person going in. Some people have a knack of picking stuff up faster. Some people take longer to learn. Some people will train, and it's the other thing as well. You say, oh, for a time limit. Time limit to me doesn't mean anything, because what you train 5-6 days a week.
Something like that. Not at the moment, but when lockdown's over, yeah, I do jiu-jitsu Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and kickboxing Wednesdays, plus a PT of use. Yeah, about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include my home workout, conditioning that I do at home, weight, running, all that sort of stuff.
So you've got, so say for example 5 days a week there, yeah? So you're doing, and just for example, say each one of those is 1 hour. So you've got 5 hours worth in 1 week there. But for somebody starting out that's doing 1 hour a week, they're 5 times slower. So 3 months for you could be 150 hours of training, but 3 months for someone else might be 12.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like it's completely, or you know, it could be anything. It could, that's obviously a very extreme example, but that's how it is. So I just think start with one. Once you get proficient and you're comfortable with one, then you can look at a second one. You did that. You started with kickboxing,
Yeah,
then
that's
you
right.
jiu-jitsu,
Yeah,
and then
that's what I was about to say. Yeah, I started kickboxing first because I wanted to always have to stand up striking me first. And then when I found myself to be decent at kickboxing, or could string a few combos and get the kicks going, then I started in jiu-jitsu. And I found I got more, learned quicker on kickboxing faster, should I say, than jiu-jitsu. But that's just because, in my opinion, jiu-jitsu is a much more complex sport. There's a lot more things you've got to remember, like keeping your arms in and when to put your arms out, when not to move, when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive. And you know, there's that sort of stuff with kickboxing, like being aggressive, not aggressive, all that sort of stuff. But just a little more technical in jiu-jitsu. So to me, like you said, it's a good thing to start on one, because you may learn one quicker or be better at one. Like I feel I'm better at kickboxing than I am jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu's getting there for me now, but I feel I'm better at the kickboxing side of things than I am jiu-jitsu. But I can string, like I said, both of them together now. So.
I think with the difference is that in kickboxing, because you're standing, you've got your centre of gravity, you're able to control your movement, you can distance yourself. With jiu-jitsu, once you're on the ground, you've got someone sat on top of you. So in a stand-up art, as long as if you've got your distance right, you're fine. There is no distance in jiu-jitsu because someone's literally sat on top of you or has you in a mount, so, or in a guard. So it's you know, it's a lot. The risk is higher. Well, I say the risk. You can get just as hurt in both. In fact, you're less likely to get knocked out in jiu-jitsu, but you're more likely to have your arm broken. So it's a different style. You know what I mean? It's a different style. But I think the complexity of jiu-jitsu is far outweighs stand-up. If you know what I mean. Any stand-up, even Muay Thai, which is extremely lethal and it's complicated stuff because you know. In kickboxing, if you go under someone's hand, they can't drop it into an elbow. So you can slip easily and start working to the body. But in Muay Thai, for example, if they jab and you slip it and they drop the elbow in like this, you're getting smashed with that. So even an art like Muay Thai where, and if that goes wrong, they fire a knee in and then bring the elbow down. You know what I mean? There's just so many variations to the movements in jiu-jitsu. You know,
you'll watch every little thing.
If you go to defend like this and put your arm too far out, and next thing you know, your arm's here and it's being pulled up, and you know you're in an armbar. So,
not nice.
Yeah, and it's bloody horrible as well. You can't really breathe into jiu-jitsu. Someone
not one now right on top of you and pinning you down there.
Yeah, horrible.
Not unless you get out very quickly. Right, so you got any more questions?
Yeah, I've got one more. So to help your viewers understand sort of just how you are scheduling your time to work around this. You have a full-time job, which you work nights, which is hard work, and you train during the day. You have to find time to sleep. So your life pattern is very different to the average person watching, who probably goes to bed at 11, wakes up at 7, 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Works during the day when everyone else generally does. Does evening classes like everyone else, which you do as well. But the difference is you do an evening class and go to work. They do an evening class and go to bed. So sum up a day in your life and how you work your training around that.
So my work is nights, obviously, like Matt just said. So essentially what I do is I sleep to about 3, depending, and unless like today, I haven't even been asleep yet.
That's in the afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 in the afternoon. Unless, like I said, it's a Friday or I've got plans like today, I haven't actually got home to sleep yet, and I'm doing a PT in a minute. Yay. It's all part of the training. But I try and get, if I can, 6 hours of sleep a day. So I get up about 3, normally go to bed about 7, 8. Normally I have something to eat before I go to bed. I know that'll probably be stopping when I'm on the diet. And then I get up, chill for a bit, because I like to have a bit of chill on my console. I am a bit of a gamer at heart as well. You know, PS4.
A geeky fighter, that's quite cool, isn't it?
You know, so I normally tend to chill for a bit, and then if it's a Monday, I'll go to my jiu-jitsu class, come back, get ready for work a night shift, and do the same the next day. Except for if it's like a Wednesday, I'd just swap it out. So instead of a jiu-jitsu class, I'd go to kickboxing, help tidy up, put away, and then go straight to work. And that's pretty much my weekly routine. It's get up at 3, chill for a bit, do my class at night, and if I'm not doing a class that night, that's when I'll do like a home workout, because I've got a workout bench and a treadmill on my bed. So I'll do like a upper body workout or a leg workout, because I never skip a leg day, never do that. Or I'll do a bit of BJJ practice by myself if I have a grappling doll at home, or do a bit of treadmill. Well, normally I warm up a bit of treadmill. So I normally warm up a bit of treadmill 5 minutes and then do a bit of upper body or whatever. If I haven't got class, if I got class, obviously go to class. And then weekend, normally I try and space it out a little bit more, so I have a bit more time to snaps. So Saturdays I normally get up at around, 10ish. Still work out in the morning, chill for a good 4 or 5 hours during the day on my console, or watching TV or whatever. Have another workout, and then chill out again for the rest of the night. And then Sunday I completely take it off to give myself that rest, because like I said, I work nights. So it's very hard to...
How do you fit eating around that? Because you obviously come off a shift and go to bed, so you don't want to be eating too heavily before bed, but you also wake up and have to do training, so you can't eat too heavily before training, so you've got a really awkward...
Yeah, that is a good question actually, yeah. So my eating schedule is very awkward. So I'll have a little snack before bed, not the greatest at the moment, which... I know
that word snack is dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah. I know all this is going to be stopping, which I've been trying to enjoy it a lot more. So So I normally have Scotch eggs or some cheese omelettes for bed. So a little light snack, and then I normally wake up and have like a big carby meal or a few carby things. So I'll have like 2 pieces of toast and cereal, which are obviously both full of carbs, and maybe some cereal bars, they're full of carbs. So normally in the afternoon it's very carby based food, ready for my workouts, and then I'll refuel them with a big protein meal. So normally I'll have like chicken and rice and a protein shake, or chicken and beef, or chicken and fish, normally one of those 2 things. Sometimes I'll have some tuna mayo sandwiches as well on the side. So before I go to work, I normally do stuff myself quite up a lot. And I also drink about 2 litres of water before I go to work, as well as drinking water throughout the day. But yeah, it's kind of just all over the place. So that's normally how it is. Like that before bed, get up, loads of carby stuff in the afternoon, do more workouts or classes, and then a big protein intake before work and water intake. And then sleep-wise, like I said, I try and get what I can when I can. No, I shouldn't, but with my schedule, because I also do YouTube, as you can probably guess in this video. In the background, I have 2 channels I do. I also do music sessions in the studio. So, and there's also, obviously, I try and fit time with my friends. So I'm always on the go. There's no really time when I do stop for long periods, unless, like I said, a Sunday or a Saturday where I get the chance to, and that's when I do make the most of it. Yeah,
Manic.
Yeah.
But hey, life's for living, right?
Yeah. So just be prepared to put the hard work in if you want to be going down any sports path, because it's the same with kickboxing. You've got a very hectic lifestyle. Boxing, I've got a mate who does boxing, and he's got a very hectic lifestyle.
My life involves coaching you guys and trying to find time to fight for myself. So that's the one.
Yeah, you know, it's a very different lifestyle from the average person. And it's hard work as well, because nights aren't the easiest shifts to do, especially with all the working out I do. Like I said, I spoke about the story. Hence I'm moving to mornings. But, you know, you just got to make do sometimes and just push through. But not too much.
Don't burn out.
Yeah, that's the key, don't burn out. So this has been the prequel, like I said, to the Road to Greatness series. A little raw sit-down interview with me and my coach. Just a few questions we want to get out there and ask. So these Road to Greatness series will be in the main series on my channel going forward. They will drop every Monday or Sunday, depending on how long it takes anyone to do it. And like I said, they will finish on the fight night. If I can get the footage of me fighting, that will be included, but that depends on the people, because they might be a bit strict on that. I will get the weigh-in night in though, because that will be recorded by my mate for me. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this little prequel episode to the Road to Greatness series. Hope you enjoy the Road to Greatness series when it drops, and it inspires you to follow your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you nothing different. Just do you and follow them. Sure. Ciao.
Get silent, got my eye on the horizon, cause I'm through big and strong, through right and wrong. Never scrapped along, underestimation, just start your destination. Straight up to light, and anyways up. Don't need luck, cause I don't give a fuck.